4, 3, 2, 1, watch me.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Ashley here. I'm so excited because it's my favorite time of the week. Ashley's Hot Takes. Week 7 is in the books, and it was actually a really good week of football. A lot of offense. We'll get into it. Let's get started with the Thursday night game. Broncos taking on the Cardinals. I know I said there's a lot of offense this week, but this was a great defensive effort by the Broncos. 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns, 6 sacks. Broncos looking good. Arizona, though, they looked a mess. They looked overmatched. And Steve Wilks, he is a defensive coach, so he needs his defense to look better than it has. Now, he inherited a defense that had lost some key pieces in years past, but still, it looks a mess. After the game, Monday morning, they fire Mike McCoy, the offensive coordinator. Okay, that's fine. The offense has looked bad. But then you had the whole Patrick Peterson thing happen where allegedly he requested a trade. Now he's come out that he's just frustrated. He doesn't want to trade. So I don't know. But the best thing this team can do is figure out what their short-term identity is going to be going forward. Are you a defensive team? Are you going to be a run team? Are you... Obviously, you have a rookie quarterback, so that doesn't really work to be like a pass-first team. So they need to just figure out their identity. Let's hop across the pond. Titans taking on the Chargers. Titans would lose this game in a close one. 2 failed 2-point attempts at the end of the game. I usually like gutsy calls, but I was not for this. Here's why. Number 1, you have an offensive machine that just guarantees you, oh, we're for sure going to get this 2-point conversion. That's number 1. Number 2, if you kick this extra point and say you go to OT or you tie, whatever, the division you're in is so close right now. You risk losing a game that you don't have to. That's what doesn't make sense to me. Everybody wants to be these flashy offenses. Not everybody's Kansas City. I hate to break it to you, but know your strengths and weaknesses. Go with the smart play, kick the PAT, live to play another down. Now to my Charger Bolt Nation fans out there. We need to start putting some respect on the Chargers. They are 5-2. Yes, Kansas City is flashy in that division, but this defense is highly underrated in my opinion. Been without Bosa most of the year, but they still have 18 sacks, 9 interceptions, really complete on all 3 phases. Derwin James, the rookie, he's balling out. So I really like this defense. Offensively, I'm a little bit concerned about this Melvin Gordon hamstring injury. Time will tell the real extent of it is. They still have Austin Eckler, and he's a good back for them as well, but it's very difficult to not have your top running back in the mix. So hopefully he comes back soon. Philly Riv, OG doing his thing. Panthers, Eagles. Panthers were scoreless most of this game into the 4th quarter. Put up 21 unanswered points in the 4th. Good for the Panthers, bad for the Eagles. What has happened to this Eagles team? I have some remaining question marks about the Panthers. One thing they did show me, however, was resiliency and a will to win. So good for them. Eagles, I know that they have been a little banged up by injury, but that's every team. There is no reason. Y'all gave up 21 points in the 4th. And when I really broke down some of the other numbers, they're not converting well on 3rd downs. They're only converting 39% of their 3rd down attempts, which isn't good. They just need to pick it all the way up. Because the Redskins are about to take full driver's seat of this division. I'm not worried about the Giants. I'm not worried about the Cowboys. The Redskins, if they keep playing as consistently as they are, they will take this division if the Eagles do not pick it up. Vikings taking on the Jets. Vikings really starting to come into their own at this point in the season. Early on, they had a tie. They got routed by the Rams. But ever since then, they have been picking it up. And Adam freaking Thielen, 7 consecutive games of 100 yards. That is amazing. And right now, to me, the MVP conversation is between him, Patrick Mahomes, and Khalil Mack. That's who's in my MVP conversation right now. To the Jets, they figured it out. They need to figure it out. Sam Darnold, 17 of 42, 206 yards, 1 TD to 3 interceptions. Not the best stat line for your rookie QB. But again, they're figuring it out. Some games he looks great. Some games it's a struggle. A team who looks like they're figuring things out after getting off to a slow start, the Lions, they traveled down to South Beach, taking on the Dolphins. Shout out to the Lions and the resurgence of the run game. The The 1-2 punch of Kerryon Johnson and LeGarrette Blount is really working effectively in this offense. You have Kerryon, who can shoulder a lot of the load. I think he had 19 carries, 158 yards. And then you have LeGarrette, who's just a good, strong back who can get you those easy 2-yard touchdowns. And there was a lot of questions at the beginning of the year. Did they really like the coach? Was this going to work? So they've turned the tide over there in Detroit. Miami, what did I say a couple weeks ago? Anybody else see Kenny Stills' touchdown where literally it was like from the end zone to the wall, this much space? That is a safety issue waiting to happen. And I feel like, I'm knocking on wood, but Miami, can we fix that? I don't want your receivers getting hurt out here.
Osweiler throwing into the end zone, and it is a touchdown to Kenny Stills. Perfect. And a tough hit on the security guard. It's very crowded and cramped in the end zone area, especially in the corners. And there is Stills going over to the security guard.
On all seriousness, I hope that lady is okay. And Kenny Stills, he did the right thing. He finished the play, but then went to go check on her, make sure she was good. But Miami, y'all need to fix that. And I have been on sidelines. They're super cramped. So that's a safety hazard. Overtime is really the Browns theme song. I don't know why I enjoy it that much, but it is. Okay, Bucks take it on the Browns. The Browns, I saw this meme. The Browns do know they don't get paid for OT, right? The Browns have been working so much OT, like the rent is 2 weeks past due. But anyway, back to the game. The Bucks kicker had a chance to win the game for them. 40-yard field goal. A kicker missing a field goal. Who would think that would ever happen? He misses in regulation, but makes up an OT, kicks a overtime long 59-yard field goal to win the game. Again, the Browns, even though it sucks, they're getting better each week. You have to appreciate the small moral victories. And I am not one that is super huge on moral victories because I would much rather have a win than a moral victory. But where they were a year ago at this time to where they are now, night and day. Speaking of another wild finish in the NFL, Patriots taking on the Bears. Bears trailed by 2 scores late in the fourth, but were able to come back, almost tied the game. Mitchell Trubisky threw I think 52 or 54-yard bomb down the field. Kevin White, who catches it on the 1-yard line. You're like, oh my gosh, the Hail Mary, he's going to make it. And then the Patriots defense, give them credit. They came out strong, kept him from going in the end zone. Time ran out. Patriots won, but Mitchell Trubisky showed a lot of promise. And my question with Mitchell Trubisky was, is he that guy for you that when the game is on the line, can he come from behind? Check. And can he put you in a position to tie or win a game? Check, check. I mean, he did everything he could. The Patriots defense just came up big. And the Patriots, I am really excited to see the development between Tom Brady and Josh Gordon. This is probably one of the top receivers he's had since Randy Moss. So I'm so excited to see how that develops. You've been watching Hot Takes long enough, you can tell which games I am just super passionate about and I love to report on. And then other games, I have to bring them to you because they're my civil duty. The Bills-Colts game would fall under that category. I don't have much to say, but for some reason, I really like Andrew Luck and I'm rooting for him and his comeback. So when he wins and he's just so jubilant and joyful, it just makes me feel good. That's literally my only thoughts on that game. That's a great lead-in to this next game. Texans, Jaguars. Where do we begin? Let's start from the beginning. Blake Bortles was drafted to the Jaguars in 2014. Since that time, he has thrown 72 interceptions to 99 touchdowns. Yes, I will be pulling out all my stats for this. 42 career fumbles, 26 games with at least 2 turnovers, and 13 pick sixes. But this is your quarterback. For weeks, I have really restrained myself. I said, I'm going to give it a little time. Well, let's see how things play out. I am done. He sucks. Get him out of there. Literally trash. You know who I blame more than Blake Bortles? I blame this organization because in the offseason, I don't care that he put 2 good playoff performances together. You should have gotten another quarterback. I don't care how many running backs you try to bring in. It's not going to solve your problem. And you can say, actually, the defense has been suspect. They've been giving up a lot of points. You want to know why? Because it's a trickle-down effect. When your quarterback sucks and can't put you in a position to win, it really trickles down to the rest of the team. And that's what things were very evident in that game. Number one, when Cody Kessler went in and you have the fan base cheering for this man to go in, that's one. Number two, it's not a coincidence that all of a sudden the ball started moving. They got a touchdown. The defense tightened up. Why do you think that is? Because Blake Bortles and his energy, his lack of leadership, his lack of awareness is a cancer to this organization. I'm not saying Blake is a bad person. I don't know the man from a can of paint. Could be a lovely individual, but as quarterback, he ain't it. My gut tells me the GM doesn't make a move. He doesn't go try to get Teddy or Tyrod or bring somebody in. So what's going to happen? They will continue to have frustration and dissension, and this will continue until they want to. You're trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Now that I'm done with my soliloquy on Blake Bortles, the Texans, the team that won, start out 0-3. They've won 4 games in a row. But I'm kind of questioning those wins because they're against the Colts, Cowboys, Bills, and Jags, and all those teams are under 500. I've been waiting to get that off my chest, and I can go back to calling Mel Ash. Okay, Saints, Ravens. This was a game I was really looking forward to coming into the week. You have a great offense versus a great defense. Poor Justin Tucker. He was like 222 before the missed field goal. But Justin Tucker has a resume that, like Mason Crosby, where if you mess up and you lose a game, you have been so consistent for so long. But if you're a young kicker in the game, you cannot be messing up like that. Just saying. I really enjoy watching both of these teams. Saints, obviously, they're always a juggernaut on offense. Defensively, I still have my question marks. The Ravens, defensively, really strong, a la those old school Ravens teams. And Joe Flacco is playing really well. Okay, Cowboys, Redskins, very old school football game. Can I just say, sidebar, it kind of irritates me how much we discuss the Cowboys. Like, if the Cowboys had the same personnel, same team, but had the name of the Bengals, we wouldn't even be talking about them. I just think you should be rewarded for results and wins and not just name recognition. But that's just me. I digress. But to the game, Cowboys had a chance to actually win this game, but they called the center for, quote, illegally moving the ball. Centers do this all the time. Regardless, it made the kick from 47 yards to now 52 yards, and the kick hit the upright, which goes to show that if it was 47 yards, he probably would have made it. So that's that. The Cowboys, they still have their issues, but let's give some credit to the Redskins. More specifically, Alex Smith. Now, 1,300 yards on the year, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Those stats are not going to necessarily wow you and jump off the paper, but he is so consistent that he puts his team in positions to win. And they have enough good pieces around him and AP and defensively to where you don't have to make him be this like flashy quarterback. It works for this system. And that's really what matters. If you can find something that works for your system, you're off to the races. Speaking of off to the races, Rams taking on the 49ers. The Rams are the best team in football. They're the most complete on both sides of the ball. And I don't really see anyone who can go pound for pound with them right now at this moment. The only 2 teams that really come to mind for me, number one in the NFC is the Vikings, because they have a potent offense and a solid defense, and they just got Everson Griffin back. In the AFC, I would say the Patriots, because you got Tom Brady. But other than that, I don't trust the Saints defense, and the Chiefs, which is the next game we're going to get into. Again, I still have my question marks of defense. So if we're going to go pound for pound, I just don't see really any clear contenders that can go pound for pound at this moment. That's a great segue into Mahomes mania. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs taking on the Bengals. The Chiefs, like, they're probably the most fun offense. No, the Rams are fun to watch. But, like, big play offense, it's the Chiefs. My main takeaways on both sides, Patrick Mahomes continues to be a stud. Again, that offense, amazing. Bengals, I was never too high on them early on in the season. They've dropped a couple as of late. They're in a interesting division this year. So they might be in the mix as the season progresses, but right now, I'm looking with the side A. Okay, last game of the week, Monday Night Football in Atlanta. Little Yachty performed. Falcons taking on the Giants. And I'm all for gutsy plays when they make sense. Why, if the score was 12-20, you have a chance to kick the extra point, make it a one-possession game, you don't just do that. Why would you go for a 2-point attempt? And then, to add insult to injury, you give Atlanta the ball back, they end up getting a field goal, so now you're down 2 scores, you're trying to put together a 2-minute drive, and you decide to run it twice with no timeouts with Eli? With all that foolishness going on, y'all deserve to lose the game. Shout out to the Falcons, they gotta win, but this was more of the Giants continuing to look and be dysfunctional. And that brings us to the conclusion of this week's edition of Ashley's Hot Takes. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please message me, comment, share it with your grandma, your friend, your sister, your homie, I don't care. Please share. Love you guys. Have a great week.